You ever open your Steam libraries, there are 2000 games and feel absolutely nothing. You scroll down like you're browsing a menu in a restaurant you've eaten at for the last decade. Every title looks like homework. You pick one, you launch it, you play it for 5 minutes, and suddenly you're on YouTube watching a raccoon trying to steal a slice of pizza. And somewhere in between the raccoon shuddering and the pizza flipping into the ground, a horrifying thought hits you. Am I bored of video games, like actually bored? Is this it? Is this the moment adulthood officially wins? Before you write your farewell letter to a gaming and start collecting stamps or something, hold on, because what if the problem isn't games at all? What if the problem is your taste? So let me explain.
Let me tell you something.
A lot of people have been feeling this weird gaming burnout lately. It's everywhere. On Discord servers, on Reddit threads, on Twitter rants. Your own inner monologue at 2 AM when you're staring at your monitor in the dark like a Victorian ghost. And the sentence everyone keeps repeating is, games just aren't fun anymore. And honestly, I get it. Sometimes modern games feel like they were created by a committee of accountants who studied the human soul for the purpose of monetizing it. Giant open worlds that feel empty. Live service titles that demand your attendance like they are your parole officer. But that's the thing that people rarely admit out loud. Even the games you love don't hit the same anymore. That game you once sank thousands of hours into, now you play it for 10 minutes and felt like you're a tired office worker. The weapons feel the same, the maps feel the same, the loop feels the same, everything is familiar, maybe too familiar. Comfort becomes routine, and routine becomes boredom. And once boredom kicks in, it's easy to blame the entire gaming industry. Games suck now, developers don't make them like they used to, or everything feels repetitive. But the twist is that you might be right for the wrong reason. So imagine eating pasta every day. For breakfast, pasta. Lunch, pasta. Your midnight snack is pasta. For months, years, a lifetime. Even if pasta is your favorite food in the universe, at some point you're just going to take a bite and feel absolutely nothing. No excitement, no satisfaction, just carbs and regret. That's what happens when you play the same genre of video games over and over. You might think that you're exploring lots of games because they have different titles and logos, but deep down, they're often just different variations of the same formula. Same mechanics with slightly different skins, same structure, same pacing, same dopamine cycle. And when your gaming diet looks like this for years, your enjoyment doesn't just dip, it flatlines. But because the games you're playing look different on the surface, you think the joy is disappearing from gaming entirely, when in reality, you're just eating the same meal every day. Now, let's be honest. Modern game design kind of encourages this trap. Developers want you to stick with a game forever. Live service titles are designed to be your jealous partners. They want all your time, all your attention, and all your emotional availability. They send you challenges, daily rewards, login bonuses, surprise events, urgent missions, limited time freebies. They're just like an overly attached ex trying to win you back with coupons. And because these games constantly demand your attention, you stop exploring other genres. You stay where you're comfortable, not because it's fun, but because it's familiar. So when players say games are boring now, it's partly because the industry keeps funneling them into a narrow corridor of experiences. And that corridor gets stale really fast. But the most important detail, the one almost everyone misses, is that you don't have to stay in that corridor. And I know this because I've been there. I used to be the classic online FPS gremlin. That was my home, my battlefield, my natural environment. I knew recall patterns better than most people know their own kitchen layout. I had meta loadouts memorized, I could spot a broken weapon from a mile away, and I had a developed sixth sense for teammates who desperately needed therapy. And for a long time, it was great, it was exciting, it was familiar in that this is comfortable but also slowly frying my brain kind of way. But at some point, something in my head just flipped. I would boot up a match and feel nothing, no hype, no adrenaline, not even anger. which is wild because anger was basically part of the FPS starter pack. Everything just became great noise. Shooting felt like paperwork, winning felt hollow, losing didn't even annoy me anymore. It just made me question my life choices for about 6 seconds before I stopped caring entirely. It wasn't one patch or update or mother weird things. It wasn't some meta or teammates screaming obscenities into a microphone that probably needed holy water. It was simply the weight of repetition. The sameness of it all, I doing the same thing for so long that my brain just clocked out. Eventually, I hit the point I never thought I'd reach. I genuinely wondered if video games just weren't for me anymore. But instead of giving up, instead of assuming I had somehow outgrown gaming, I tried something different, something I should have done way earlier. I switched genres. I dove into single-player games, narrative-driven ones, more atmospheric stuff. Experiences with actual characters and emotions and world building. Games that didn't scream at me to grind a battle pass or log in daily, or prove my worth to 12 strangers who are definitely still in high school. These games were not trying to squeeze hours out of me, they were offering something. A moment, a story or a theme, or even a vibe. Something that actually felt like it was made for players instead of shareholders. And then something amazing happened. I felt joy again. Like real joy. Not that cheap dopamine hit from a headshot or a rank up, but the deeper kind. The spark of discovering something new. Exploring a world for the first time. Connecting with characters. Experiencing mechanics and ideas I hadn't touched in years. It was like remembering a flavor you used to love as a kid and suddenly tasting it again. That moment, that spark made something very clear. Gaming didn't get boring. My habits did. Now, there's a real psychological reason behind it. Humans are wired to respond to novelty, new sensations, new ideas, or new kinds of challenges. They all wake up part of your brain that routine slowly numbs. When you stay in one genre for years, you stop playing games on autopilot. Your brain isn't surprised, it isn't curious, it isn't challenged, it's just filling out forms while staring out a window. So the moment you try something new, something truly different, your brain wakes up again. Suddenly you're learning new mechanics, you're exploring new environments, and you're emotionally invested in characters. You are trying to solve puzzles, understand mysteries, or simply enjoy an experience instead of trying to win it. It's like traveling to a new country after staying in your hometown your whole life. Everything just feels alive again. Not because the world changed, but because you moved. Now, when people hit this burnout, they often say, I guess I've grown out of games, which is funny because nobody ever says they've grown out of movies, music, or food. Adult life doesn't come with a rulebook that says at age 27 you must stop enjoying fun things and become a taxation enthusiast. What people really grown out of isn't gaming, it's repetition. We don't lose our ability to enjoy interactive worlds. We just lose patience for doing the same things over and over, especially when life gets busier and free time becomes precious. We don't want to waste the little leisure time that we have repeating the same experiences that no longer excite us. But instead of realizing this, some people just blame the entire hobby. Imagine hating every movie you watch because you only watch romantic comedies from 2004. You wouldn't say cinema sucks now, you would say maybe I should try something besides Jennifer Lopez trying to find love again. That's what genre switching is. It's giving yourself permission to rediscover the part of gaming that you've been ignoring. Now, everyone who has gone through this burnout and come out on the other side knows the exact moment this spark comes back. It's small, almost insignificant, maybe it's a quiet moment in history. Maybe it's exploring a beautifully designed area, maybe it's hearing a piece of music that hits you emotionally, or maybe it's just a mechanic that feels genuinely new to you. But whatever it is, you feel something you haven't felt in years. I'm having fun. Not the rushed, adrenaline-fueled fun of competitive matches, not the eventual satisfaction of grinding process, but something deeper and more genuine. A sense of engagement, curiosity, and presence. And that feeling often leads to something even healthier. You start choosing games based on what they make you feel and not based on what you're used to. You stop picking games out of habit and you start picking them out of excitement. It's a subtle but massive shift. This is the core message every burnout gamer needs to hear. You're not bored of gaming, you're bored of your pattern. Video games are more diverse, creative, emotional, and experimental than ever. There are entire genres you've never touched, entire worlds you've never visited, entire experiences capable of blowing your mind, sitting quietly in the corner of your library. Your love for gaming didn't disappear, it just moved, and you just had to follow it. Once you step outside the cycle you've stuck in, whether it's FPS, RPGs, or MMOs, whatever, you realize something important. Gaming is still incredible. It's still magical, it still has the power to surprise you, and is still one of the most expressive forms of art in this planet. The boredom wasn't the sign that games were dying, it was a sign that you maybe needed to change. So if you're watching this and feeling the same creeping boredom, that hollow sensation that games don't feel exciting anymore, don't panic. Your passion didn't fade, it just needs a new environment to breathe in. Try something new, something out of your comfort zone, something you wouldn't normally click on, something slower or stranger or funnier, scarier or more narrative-driven or even experimental. And when you find that one game that hits you in a way you didn't expect, that's when you realize gaming never stopped being fun. You just stopped exploring. Your joy is still there, so go find it. Thank you for watching, and see you soon, random internet brother. Hello everyone, before leaving I just wanted to say that now you can become a member of the channel. Of course there's some benefit from it, such as showing your name on the final screen and watching my videos before everyone else, and it's a good way to support my work if you like my content. Obviously all my content is gonna be free to watch forever, so if you just want to support me with a subscription or like, that's also very welcome. So thank you for watching, and see you soon, random internet brother.